Volition has shut down. After 30 years in the video game industry, last week's news broke that effective immediately, Volition will be closing down per statements by Volition themselves. I'm late on this subject, but I was out of the country and just recently got back. Not only that, but I wanted to wait a couple days for the dust to settle as more news and insider juice was surfacing each day regarding this situation. There is a couple theories as to why this happened. For example, some people are claiming that the reason Volition was closed down is because of a $2 billion deal falling through between Embracer Group, who owns Deep Silver, with the Saudis, therefore forcing them to cut costs within their company. This is a pretty realistic theory, and I can see them wanting to cut costs with terminating Volition solely based on the fact that Saints Row is a franchise that costs a lot of money to make, and over the last decade or so, Volition has proven that they just aren't capable of making a well-received game anymore. There is the most obvious theory, the one in which explains the studio closure. Like I said before, Volition not being up to par anymore. Disaster game after disaster game, and Embracer just losing trust, especially after the reboot. Just look at all the things people have said about this game. I think it proves that we aren't just a vocal minority. The general gaming world simply hated this game, and rightly so in my opinion. From the buggy launch of the game, the core gameplay being horrid, the scrutinizing of the fans, which we will get into a little later on, and just so many other negatives surrounding this title that led to Volition's demise. But as much as we can blame Volition for this game being such a dumpster fire, Deep Silver is one of, if not even more guilty of making this game so horrible. Deep Silver is Volition's boss. They are the ones calling the shots, so we have to keep in mind whatever they say goes. They are the ones that insisted the game being about friendship and all the other cringe you see in the story. They are the ones that insisted on the color teal instead of purple. Saints Row YouTuber and my good friend Flippy said it best.
And Volition is no longer with Deep Silver, the IP holders. The IP holders who insisted that the game be about friendship and himbos and the gig economy and hashtag that's relatable AF. And teal. Deep Silver really pushed the color teal for branding. I gotta make this clear, for as much as we all want to blame Volition, which we totally can for shoehorning in that awful combat system that they refused to let die with AOM, Deep Silver ultimately calls the shots for what the game is.
And that's a damn shame, because he also states that Volition originally intended for the reboot to be about classic gang warfare, going far as to say that Volition was aiming for Saints Row 2.5, but Deep Silver ultimately stepped in and told him that games of that nature won't sell well. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, I see a lot of people in the community saying that Volition was attacking their fans during the marketing of the game, but that's actually incorrect. Sure, there might have been a couple memes posted by devs here and there, but the real damage was done by Deep Silver. The haters gonna hate incident, the lashing out at fans, the terrorist incident, all of that and beyond was done by Deep Silver, as they had control of the Saints Row Twitter and social handles. It was specifically done by one person. I won't mention her name because I don't want this to seem like a bashing one specific person video, but it was the community manager at the time doing all of this damage. Regardless of who set the tone, they kinda dug their own grave with the campaign around the game. Doesn't really change how Volition acted towards their fans, regardless of who they want to blame. So many people of the Saints Row community unanimously agreed that the community manager at the time caused so much damage and bad will within an already very shaky game reveal. This is something I wanted to clear up because it seems like everyone assumes Volition was causing all this damage via social media, but nope, it was Deep Silver. It was that community manager. And that's not to say she was at fault for all marketing blunders, just the ones regarding the social media handling and the fan interaction leading up to the release, saying things like people are only attacking her because she is a woman, and just overall having the maturity level of a high school kid. Wait, we were in the era of everything I said was somehow related to Saints Row and torn apart and misrepresented in YouTube videos. Couldn't do anything right. No one was touching grass. Wouldn't have happened if I was a dude, just saying. Oh my god, give me a break. That's hilarious.
Please. Man, look here, dog. This woman here has issues, bro. Them drugs are kicking her right.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that he's saying Volition is playing victim, but Death is actually Deep Silver, so this wouldn't be Volition. But I do get what he's saying. That is a ridiculous tweet. But it's Deep
she's
Silver,
clearly
not
losing
Volition.
that.
There was even a theory going around that the reason why this was announced on August 31st was because that was when the Starfield embargo lifted, in hopes that the news would be kind of swept under the rug with all the Starfield talk going on. Well, regardless of whatever theory or reasoning is the truth, one thing for certain is that Volition is no more. And while I know a lot of you have been celebrating and rubbing salt into the wound, I honestly find myself feeling sad about this whole thing. Volition is a studio that has made some pretty damn awesome games in the past that range from the OG Saints Row games, Red Faction, Descent, Punisher, and other titles that gamers actually enjoyed. I think it's easy to forget that there was actually a time when Volition was beloved as a game studio and was seen as the mighty underdog going toe-to-toe with giants like Rockstar with 20% of the budgets. So seeing this news is a bit sad. Not only that, but many people have lost their income over this, and that's something I wouldn't wish on anyone, regardless of how much I hated a specific game. So hopefully the devs out of a job can bounce back on their feet in a timely manner. That being said, the future of Saints Row is very up in the air. During the making of this video, news broke that Embracer is considering selling Gearbox, which was the company that Volition merged with prior to their closure about 9 months ago. This is also the company that makes Borderlands. So since they were going to be helping with developing anything related to future Saints Row games or content, if they are sold off, that could mean another studio picks up development for a new Saints Row title, which actually sounds exciting. But here's where it gets doom and gloom. Because no matter which team gains responsibility for a new game, Deep Silver would continue to publish the game and oversee a lot of the creative decisions regarding the story, missions, and premise of the entire game, which is just awful news. That is why I think us Saints Row fans that have even the slightest glimmer of hope are doomed. Overall, I think it's a situation that honestly could have easily been avoided. Imagine an alternate timeline where Saints Row 2022 returned in all its glory and filled the giant-sized gang simulator game craving that the masses have been calling for years now. It could have been the perfect game to sink hundreds of hours into while we patiently wait for GTA 6. But alas, hindsight is 2020, and unfortunately the timeline we're in is far more grim.
We've created a set of characters that you're going to want to invite in your living room every day.
Volition has died, and I think a portion of my childhood has died too. It feels surreal to see it in print in front of my face, but it's the reality that we must face. It's not entirely shocking that it happened, but I still didn't expect it to actually happen. Forever in our hearts, thank you for all the good memories, Volition. I will remember you. Will you remember me?
Shit, what you think?
Don't let your life pass you by.
I guess that makes us even.
Weep not for the memories.
Don't worry, I'm gonna make a banger out of you if it kills me.
Volition has died.
You know what? I think Julius was right about you.
Can I get one Oreo McFlurry and an apple pie? Forever in our hearts. I just soiled my pants with a wet fart. Goodbye, Volition.